All right, let's jump right into this deep dive. We've got some really interesting source material you shared with us. It's focusing on two major developments that hit the data world back in May 2025, pretty much the exact same time.
That's right. And we're not talking minor updates here. The sources describe them as a significant leap forward, things that are really set to influence how companies handle their data, well, for the rest of this year and likely beyond.
Yeah, so we're looking at Anthropic's release of their Claude 4 models, that's Opus 4 and Sonnet 4,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time, this new public access to the Data Vault 2.1 methodology certification course.
Right. Two big hitters.
So our mission here is pretty clear, I think. We're going to unpack each one individually because, honestly, they're substantial on their own.
Definitely.
But then the interesting part is exploring how the source material suggests they might, intersect and maybe even amplify each other.
Exactly. Think of this as your shortcut to getting up to speed on these big shifts. And the sources have some details that, well, they might surprise you.
What really jumps out from the material is just the timing, the coincidence.
Yeah, the sheer timing of it. These two distinct but really impactful developments popping up almost simultaneously in May 2025.
Exactly. So on one side, Anthropic drops Claude 4, Opus 4, Sonnet 4.
And on the other, bang, there's this news about the Data Vault 2.1 methodology update and the certification access becoming public.
And the sources, they frame this combo as a significant leap forward, right?
Yeah.
Something destined to shape enterprise data strategy, governance, implementation, basically the whole data picture for 2025.
It's really compelling that the sources are drawing this connection. So maybe let's start by digging into Claude 4, see why it's creating such a buzz.
Okay, sounds good. So according to the material, Claude Opus 4 and Sonnet 4, they officially launched on May 22nd, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And the word is, many folks consider this the most significant advancement in AI-powered data management tools this year. Quite a claim.
It is, and the key term the sources use is hybrid reasoning models. They're apparently designed specifically to tackle the kind of complexity data engineering teams face every day. Problems needing more than just simple pattern matching.
Right. And for those data engineers, the coding capabilities, especially in Opus 4, seem like a big deal. The material points to some remarkable performance benchmarks.
Yeah, those numbers are impressive. We're talking 72.5% on SWE bench, which tests how well a model can fix real bugs in actual software projects.
Which is notoriously hard.
Exactly. And 43.2% on terminal bench, focusing on command line stuff. The source actually uses these results to call Opus 4 the world's leading coding model.
So what does that mean practically for data teams? The translation seems to be unprecedented support for complex pipeline development.
Right. And a specific capability mentioned is this sustained performance on long-running tasks spanning several hours. That means it can autonomously handle processes needing potentially thousands of steps.
That kind of AI stamina, that's huge. The sources even give examples. Companies like Cursor reporting state-of-the-art performance in complex code-based understanding with Opus 4.
And Replit observing improved precision and dramatic advancements for complex changes across multiple files.
You can immediately see the connection there, right? Data engineering teams managing those often sprawling ETLLT processes. This could really help.
Totally. Sonnet 4 gets a nod too. Opus 4 is the flagship, sure, but Sonnet 4 is no slouch. Significant improvements over its predecessor, Sonnet 3.7, hitting 72.7% on SWE bench.
And there's a concrete application already. GitHub announced Sonnet 4 is going to power the new coding agent in GitHub Copilot.
So that's reaching developers directly.
Yeah. But here's a capability the source suggests might be even more impactful for data professionals. This extended thinking with tool use. It's in both models.
Ah, okay. Tell me more about that.
Well, it means the models can smoothly switch between thinking it internally, reasoning, and then reaching out to use external tools.
Like what kind of tools?
Things like performing a web search or using API integration as part of solving a problem. The source actually frames this as fixing a critical gap, how AI has historically struggled to connect with the messy reality of different enterprise systems and data sources.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just processing data it's given, it can go get data or interact with other systems.
Exactly. And they also mentioned parallel tool execution capabilities, which sounds like it could handle more complex workflows, and improved memory management, which is obviously crucial for those long data tasks we talked about.
And there's more in memory, isn't there? Something specific to Opus 4?
Yes. When it has access to local files, the sources say Opus 4 shows significantly enhanced memory capabilities. It apparently creates and maintains its own memory files to store key info over time.
Wow.
The potential there, as the source puts it, could be revolutionary for things like data lineage and metadata management. Imagine the AI actually remembering the context of your whole data landscape.
That would be a game changer for understanding complex environments.
Now, let's talk accessibility. The source flags this as another significant development. Sonnet 4, the slightly less powerful but still capable model, is available free of charge.
Free. Okay, that's big.
And both models, Opus 4 and Sonnet 4, are widely available. We're talking the Anthropic API, Amazon Bedrock, and Google Cloud's Vertex AI.
So major cloud platforms.
Right. And the implication, which the source really emphasizes, is that this democratizes access. It puts these really advanced AI data engineering tools into the hands of potentially way more organizations, not just the giants with huge resources.
Okay, so that paints a pretty clear picture of the AI side with Claude 4. Powerful coding, tool use, better memory, and now more accessible.
Exactly. So now let's pivot to that other big development happening around the same time, according to the material. The Data Vault 2.1 methodology update.
Right. The announcement about the Data Vault 2.1 certification. The sources describe this as the most significant update to the Data Vault methodology in several decades.
That's a long time in the data world.
Right.
So what's the core purpose behind this update?
Well, it's really about adapting Data Vault for today's world, addressing the needs of modern data architectures, specifically mentioning cloud-native environments and AML integration scenarios.
Okay, so catching up with the times. How has the content changed?
It's expanded substantially. The material says the certification course now covers over 24 hours of comprehensive training material. That's quite an increase.
Then what's in that new material?
Importantly, there are new modules reflecting current challenges and trends. The sources list things like data lakes, data virtualization, and data fabric concepts.
So acknowledging that shift towards hybrid architectures, mixing things like data mesh and data fabric.
Precisely. Which experts, according to the source, predict will pretty much dominate 2025 data strategies. So DV 2.1 is trying to fit into that world.
Makes sense. What else is new?
There's also a big focus on integrating agile delivery more deeply. They're incorporating techniques from Scott Ambler.
Okay, agile and data warehousing isn't entirely new, but what's different here?
The source highlights support for teams moving from traditional 2-week sprints to one-day iterations.
One-day iterations.
Yeah.
For data vault modeling and loading, that sounds incredibly fast.
It does. The source stresses this ability to dramatically accelerate development cycles, but, and this is key, while still maintaining rigorous governance standards.
That's the trick, isn't it? Speed with control.
Exactly. And this speed aligns directly with what businesses want. Faster data delivery, real-time insights, quicker responses, being able to deliver functional data pieces daily within that governed structure. The source calls it a significant competitive advantage.
Okay, what about the more technical side? Any updates there?
Yes, the update brings in advanced technical implementations that were maybe previously considered outside the core DV scope. The source lists examples like common information format or CIF integration, enhanced support for non-relational databases like NoSQL, and advanced streaming data processing.
So broadening the technical toolkit. Anything particularly relevant for the kind of data we see a lot of now?
Definitely. The inclusion of JSON integration and enhanced record source tracking is highlighted. That directly tackles handling semi-structured and unstructured data, which is everywhere.
Yeah, essential these days.
And the focus on real-time streaming data processing is also crucial as more companies shift towards event-driven architectures.
Got it. Any changes on the governance front within 2.1 itself?
Yes, it introduces some new concepts, specifically mentioning hard rules and multi-tenancy.
Okay, what's the significance there?
Well, it directly addresses the growing importance of data security and privacy, especially in regulated industries. It helps build stronger governance frameworks that can adapt to complex rules while still allowing for operational flexibility.
Okay, so we've looked at Claude 4's AI power and Data Vault 2.1's modernized architecture. Now, the really intriguing part from the source is the idea that these aren't just separate events.
Right. The source explicitly states this simultaneous release highlights a broader convergence between artificial intelligence capabilities and data architecture methodologies.
A convergence. So how might they work together? What's the synergy?
The core idea presented is that Claude 4's advanced reasoning capabilities actively complement Data Vault 2.1's structured approach. It creates this opportunity for companies to use both, well, synergistically.
Okay, let's make that concrete. How could that actually work? The sources connect Claude 4's ability to handle those long, complex reasoning tasks.
With DV 2.1's strong emphasis on automated governance.
So what could that look like?
The potential benefits mentioned are pretty compelling. Things like Claude 4's dynamic schema generation or its natural language interfaces could significantly enhance how you implement DV 2.1,
How so?
especially in areas like metadata management and data lineage tracking. Imagine using a natural language query powered by Claude 4 to ask questions about your data vault metadata.
Or having the AI help document complex data transformations automatically because it understands the DV structure.
Exactly that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then there's the productivity angle.
Right, combining Claude 4's coding muscle and that sustained performance.
With DV 2.1's newly accelerated agile delivery methods, the promise is substantial improvements in development productivity.
So teams could use Claude 4 to, say, automate complex modeling tasks.
Potentially, yes. Automate those tasks within the rigorous governed framework that Data Vault 2.1 provides. It's almost like having an incredibly smart assistant who already knows the architectural rules and can help you build compliant pipelines much, much faster.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. What are the bigger industry implications here with these two developments converging?
Well, the source material points out they land at a pretty critical juncture. You've got this massive data and analytics market projected at $17.7 trillion, apparently.
Wow.
So there's huge pressure to get value from data, but at the same time, there's growing complexity, more regulation.
The usual challenges amplified.
Right. And that accessibility factor for Claude 4 comes back in here. Sonnet 4 being free, both models on major clouds.
Yeah.
It democratizes access to AI capabilities that used to be only for the biggest players.
And when you pair that democratization with DV 2.1's focus on faster governed delivery.
The sources suggest the combination could accelerate the adoption of ever more sophisticated data management practices across a much wider range of companies, not just the Fortune 500.
That makes sense. Now, for organizations listening, thinking about maybe using these, does the source offer any practical advice?
It does, and it's quite specific. It advises prioritizing building foundational capabilities in metadata management and data governance before jumping into advanced AI solutions like Claude 4, or even updating to agile methods like Data Vault 2.1.
Ah, the fundamentals first. That really hits home, doesn't it?
It does. The sources strongly emphasize that your success with these powerful new tools and methods really depends heavily on having robust data governance frameworks and organizational data literacy already in place. You can't just drop the tech in and expect magic.
The foundation needs to be solid.
Precisely. Which brings us to the future outlook presented in the material. The source basically concludes that this convergence AI capabilities meeting modernized data architecture could well define the next generation of enterprise data strategies.
Okay, so quite a journey there. We've done this deep dive into, well, the cutting-edge AI of Claude 4 and the pretty significant modernization happening with the Data Vault 2.1 methodology.
Yeah, following the source material to see their individual impact, but also this really interesting suggested convergence that could, shape how companies approach data moving forward.
And hopefully understanding these developments, as laid out in the source, gives you a bit of an edge in navigating this constantly changing data landscape.
Definitely helps to be aware of these major shifts.
And the source material kind of leaves us and you with this final thought to chew on. Success with super sophisticated tools like Claude 4 or these agile frameworks like Data Vault 2.1, it all seems to circle back to having solid data governance and data literacy first.
The basics still matter.
Right. So given how powerful these new technologies are becoming, what is that persistent emphasis on foundational practices and just basic human understanding? What does that tell you about where the future of data work is really headed? Something to think about.